Hope you guys are able to see my screen. Okay, so thank you everyone for coming to our Welcome Day academic year 23 to 24. We would like to introduce our team later on. But first of all, let me give you a brief overview of what NTUES does. So we are the premier student-run and only student-run entrepreneurship organization in NTU, and we are a key part of NTU's entrepreneurial ecosystem. Our vision for NTUES is to become the one-stop shop for NTU students to access resources and services that will accelerate their pursuit of entrepreneurship. Also, our mission will be to nurture and empower next generation entrepreneurs within NTU by connecting them with a robust support system here in NTU. So as of now, we do have strong linkages with the many entrepreneurship entities in NTU, such as Intuitive, NTU's Innovation and Entrepreneurship Office, also known as INE. We also have linkages with Entrepreneurship Academy and many more. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our executive committee for this academic year. So I'm Rachel, your president for the next coming year. And we also have Hubert, which will be joining soon, and he's the Vice President of Business Development. We have Walter, who is the Vice President of VP Marketing. And we have Gerald and Arjun, who are VP Projects. So, are you an entrepreneur? So we are basically looking for members to join us, and you could be really anyone in general. You could be an aspiring founder looking to market your product or to basically start idea creating. Or you could be someone who is looking to build or launch or solve something that you have been wanting to work on for very long. You could be someone who wants to network and bounce ideas off your like-minded peers within this club. Or you could even be someone who is looking for employment options within this innovation ecosystem. Or really, you could just be someone who wants to learn new things. So we do have multiple programs in store for you. So one of them would be industry exposure, and the rest would be community engagement as well as educational resources. So as you can see here, we have come up with a number of resources as well as activities and stores over the past few academic years, as well as this academic year as well. So as you can see, we previously did Ask Me Anythings with Genesis Alternative Ventures in inviting all these guest speakers. We have also done more speaker events or webinars with people from Spartan Group, Flash Coffee, and Telenox. And we've also done speaker events with the concept toolkit, for example. So in this case, we did actually come up with a concept toolkit to better aid aspiring entrepreneurs to be able to kickstart their own program on their own as well. So into a deeper dive into our concept toolkit, we have things such as the SWOT analysis. So this is basically to help you ideate when you're thinking about which industry to enter in order to market your product. And we did also include certain snapshots of interviews with budding entrepreneurs, such as Bolong, for example, who was the CEO of Solar AI Technologies. And this was the snapshot of his interview when we asked him for advice for our NTUpreneurs. So we also do have multiple projects in store for you. So these are the innovation challenges, training workshops, as well as job openings. So these are the projects that we've worked on within the past few years. So one of the most prominent that we actually worked on is actually the Bank of Singapore X Intuitive Open Innovation Challenge, where we work closely with Intuitive as well as Bank of Singapore in order to work more on the private banking industry. We've also partnered closely with Intuitive on a number of their initiatives, such as the Intuitive Work Study Scheme, which allowed many of our students to basically work with employers in order to gain a better understanding of the entrepreneurship scene within Singapore. We have also done other things such as technopreneurship, for example, when we work with the PNP chapter, as well as Plant-Based Perfection Challenge, which we work closely with ADM, for example. So this is a brief overview of NTU's entrepreneurship system. So at the center, we have NTUES, which is us, and surrounded by us within the inner circle, we have in NTU INE, which is NTU's Innovation and Entrepreneurship Office, which opened very recently in March this year. We also have the Social Impact Catalyst, which is another entity also closely related with NTU. And apart from that, we also have many other entities outside who are supporting us, such as OCBC, Protege Ventures, Plug and Play, Pickers Capital, and many other VCs that we have connections with. So our club advisor here is Mr. Lim Boon Chow. He is the Deputy Director of Entrepreneurship Education, and is also recently leading the I&E office. So in this case, he has a deep experience in technology licensing, and he also manages a talent pool of rapid software and hardware developers for venture building projects. And very recently, he led the development of unique intuitive toolkits, such as your career assessment profile, a smart contract for market access, AI smart survey summarizer, and many more. Essentially, he's a very influential entrepreneurship director, and he has very closely aided us in launching many of our initiatives. So here is a bit more about NTU's Innovation and Entrepreneurship Office that very recently opened in March 2023. So very recently, in the earlier half of this year, we actually had this I&E launch where many startups and clubs actually gathered in order to watch the launch of this office, which brings together Intuitive and brings together the I&E office under one big umbrella of entrepreneurship. So by opening this I&E initiative, NTU aims to create a more conducive learning environment to mentor and aid students to turn their ideas into more marketable products. So this would actually include your NTU Entrepreneurship Academy, which focuses on entrepreneurship education, as well as NTU's existing Intuitive, which generally focuses more on commercializing and incubating startups. So here's a snapshot of your typical startup journey. So first of all, you would actually look at ideation as you start off with your foundations. And this is the part where you think about how to create your business model and you think about which industry you want to enter in. So this is generally done by looking at your problem and solution fit. This is whether you can identify a problem within an industry and whether you are capable of coming up with a solution to fit it. So from there, you would actually start to bootstrap and fund your idea, basically. So from here, as you can see, as you keep going up and up, as you continue to scale your product, many startups start to fail until only eventually 1% of startups are able to make it past the seed round, the Series A round, as well as the B, C, D rounds as well. So in this case, you can see that it's actually not easy to be able to reach the likes of, let's say, Microsoft, Amazon, and more. But the whole idea is not to discourage you. It's actually to show you that it is not easy, but a club like NTUES is here to support you on your journey. So within our startup journey with NTU, we do actually look at a number of channels along this timeline. So for example, you can see along the ideation portion, we do have things like the Nest Bootcamp, and we do also have Ideas Inc., which is the startup competition. We do also have the multidisciplinary team fund, which is done closely with Intuitive. And we also do have other resources like your career profiling, as well as incubation mentors and managers. And within the incubation category, we do also have things like the Postgraduate Entrepreneur Program and Enterprise Singapore, which actually gives a 50K Startup SG Founder Grant. And we do also have things like investment games, open innovation labs, as well as your industry and funding mentors. And from this portion on, as you accelerate your idea, we do have things like skills future courses, your strategic research and innovation funds, various market access channels, as well as your venture building managers and market access mentors. So some of these, like those highlighted in red, are actually more anchored by Intuitive, while the rest are actually managed by the NTU's I&E office. At this juncture, I do see that people are starting to put in more questions. Not to worry, we will actually answer most of these questions later on, so do hang tight for now. But just to address some of your queries, for example, Intuitive is in the ecosystem, but it has generally been, as Melvin says, superseded with NTU's I&E office. So now I&E office is the one-stop shop for anything entrepreneur related. So Intuitive has been merged under that umbrella in general. Hopefully that answers your question. Okay, sure thing. Without further ado, I guess we'll move on. Here is NTU's Entrepreneurship and Startup Training Program, also known as NES. It is actually a pre-incubation startup training program, which was launched quite recently, last year. And it actually consists of a one-day boot camp and consultation sessions with resident mentors, and is basically allowing potential founders to understand the foundational elements of starting a business, in particular the mindset of an entrepreneur, customer discovery, and primary validation. So we do actually look for people like general students, staff, alumni, and any Startup SG founder grant applicants. Basically, this grant is open to the wide public, and by enrolling in this program, you'll be able to work on this incubation startup training program. So here's another chart for investee valuation and cadence. So the whole idea of this chart is actually to show you that the winning strategy for many startups is to receive multiple offers early, which generally means that for founders to be able to succeed, you must be able to deliver short and compelling pitch fast. And in general, still on the investor side, based on your portfolio purchase time, you must know that generally investors doesn't mean that an early lead leads to and translates to an overall win. And you don't have, and on the investor side, they don't have to make many investments to compose a winning portfolio. So here are additional funding for startups that you might be interested in as you join this club. So first of all, generally our most popular is the Intuitive Multidisciplinary Team Grant, which offers you up to 10,000. But this is only open to teams or startups founded by NTU students, staff, alumni. So generally, this will apply to everyone here who is in NTU. Intuitive also offers the Overseas Venture Grant, which is up to 70% cost support as you initially start up on your venture. On the Startup SG side, which is under Enterprise SG, they do also have the ESG Enhanced Startup SG founder called START, which also offers you about 50,000. The ESG Startup SG Tech also offers you 250,000 to 500,000. And Intuitive also lastly offers a Strategic Research and Innovation Fund, which is by invitation only to NTU spin-offs. So this list is not exhaustive at all. This is just to provide you with a generic overview of what funding from startups can generally hope to see within the NTU ecosystem. So within the club side, we do have a number of projects, such as a number of programs, such as our projects, our business development, as well as our marketing portfolios. So on the project side, we do have a core and special project management, and they do also organize joint projects with external partners. And for the business development role, as you might know, it's generally about relationship management and liaising with potential partners. On the marketing end, it does work on brand strategy and campaign management, and also working on content creation as well as community building. So, onto the benefits of joining NTUES. As you can see from previously, we do offer you the exclusive benefit of attending exclusive sharing sessions with seasoned industry leaders. So this could be speaker events from established entrepreneurs, such as Entrepreneurship 101 events, as well as venture capitals. And also, you'll gain priority access to our workshops and special projects held in conjunction with the NTU's I&E office, such as incubators and accelerator programs. Additionally, you can also receive curated educational materials, which contain entrepreneurship knowledge, such as our Startup Toolkit, our Entrepreneur Spotlight, and our weekly knowledge sharing. Lastly, you are able to meet like-minded individuals and engage in thought-provoking discussions, or otherwise launch or scale your projects with us. So this can be through your networking sessions, closed discussion groups, or even job listings or referrals to certain accelerators or service providers. So without further ado, let us pause here for a bit. If you're still interested in signing up for NTUES, or if you're not a member yet, do sign up here to join our club, or otherwise you can also indicate your interest to join the main committee or as well the subcommittee member. So in this case, you can, for the main committee and the subcommittee member, you can look at the 3 portfolios mentioned previously. So do, take the time to sign up now if you are still interested. maybe we'll pause here for a bit for everyone to sign on if you are willing, if you would like to do so. Okay, I trust that everyone has, been able to scan the screenshot if you'd like to sign up. So we'll still be sharing the QR code at the end of the session. So do, if you are change your mind and you're interested to join again, we'll be able to flash the QR code as well. So this is our upcoming academic year's tentative timeline. So for the later half of this year, we'll be organizing speaker events to share about various topics related to entrepreneurship, as well as how you can get kickstarted on your entrepreneurship journey. And in the next half of next year, we'll be working on networking sessions. So this will involve in-person networking sessions for both entrepreneurs and venture capitalists looking to pitch or else to invest. And also, we'll be working on career tips, which will mean organizing sharing sessions by VC firms for them to discuss about the hiring process and how aspiring people can break into VC firms or maybe even intern and get an offer. Next, we'll continue to organize even more speaker events to share about the deal sourcing process, as well as how startups can continue to appeal to VC firms. Okay, for now, we'll be pausing here for a bit. Carlo, who is our guest speaker, will be joining at around 7:45. So do take a 10-minute break for now, and we'll be resuming shortly. Thank you. Hi everyone. We'll be starting promptly with our next speaker, who is Carlo Charles, and he'll be presenting on his latest startup, which is Flint. So hopefully you guys are back from the coffee break. If you are, can you please switch on your cameras? As we go along, Carlo will be sharing quite a few insights about his startup journey and how he has managed to achieve the success that he's had so far. So if you do have any questions for him, please do ask him after his sharing at the Q&A session.
Okay, hi guys. Can I get started?
Yeah, sure. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay, let me share the presentation. All right, so just to like get things started off, I just want to like get I don't know, put it out there that I'm just an NTU student like everyone out here in this call. So I'm not any big shot, but I'm here today to like share you my experiences throughout my last 3 years, I guess, and from what I've learned along the way, and maybe that could be a good starting point for some of the people here, because NTU students are really like getting onto the entrepreneurship journey very recently. So I would love to be helping whoever is out here today listening to me. So yeah, I would like to start off. So just a short background about me. I'm studying mechanical engineering at NTU. I'm a third year student, and other than that, I've also like studied human-centered design and systems thinking. So I'm a guy who really puts like a lot of focus and attention to design, and it's been like from a very young age that I have this keen eye attention to details where I don't know, it could be a good thing, good detail. I'm sorry, it could sometimes be a good thing and sometimes could also be a bad thing, but maybe we can discuss more about that later as we go down. Other than that, I worked at Apple for the like last 1 year, and I worked with Google, U.S. Embassy, and Temasek Foundations to build several projects before university, and I've also been featured in National Geographic, Straits Times, CNA, and recently TechCrunch. So the TechCrunch thing is still an embargo, so I would really appreciate it that you guys don't, put it out there to save me from getting in trouble. So yeah, I trust you guys. So maybe when I start off, I can share more about my background and my story. I think it's a bit different compared to the typical Singaporean story. I'm a Singaporean, but I was born and raised in Philippines my entire life, and throughout my time there, I've seen like how different life can be for people in the Philippines, because Philippines is prone to lots of natural disasters and typhoons and floods and everything. So we can see like communities get destroyed and families like just lose everything in a single night, and that kind of impacted the way I think from a very young age. And since due to that, I've really like started building projects, tech projects that can address climate change. My first one was when I was like 14 or 15 years old. I built like a air purifier system built for the homes using a modular design and activated carbon and all those things. And that was like the first project I built. After that, I was like, I really love building stuff. So I just went on a big journey, and I built like three projects after that, and that's where I got all these recognition you see down there. So yeah, that was like until NS came. I was forced to go for army because like I didn't know anything about NS when I first came to Singapore. So I didn't even know BMT was like in a separate island, like in Tekong. So when they were bringing me the boat, I was like, where the hell am I going? Yeah. So I came in blinded. Like I had no sense of direction when I came to Singapore. The food was different, the culture was different, the language was different. Singlish was very hard to understand. I got punished. Fun fact: I got punishments from my sergeants in BMT for not laughing at their jokes, even. So yeah, that is a I would say a very tough 3 months to like adjust to a new country. Imagine like going to a new country and the first thing you do is go to the army. That is a very tough experience. But I guess it helped me. It helped me like improve in some sense. and it taught me many new things. So when I came to Singapore, uh, I had a deadline from Google and US Embassy to continue the third version of my project, which was basically a data buoy that will be floating in the oceans. And that will take the data from the water and transfer it wirelessly to the shore. So something like this usually costs around 5,000 US dollars. And I was able to make it for $200. So that's how Google and US Embassy were very interested in, because Philippines has one of the world's best coral reefs in the entire world, but they don't have the infrastructure to take care of it. And even like one degree of temperature and change can just kill all the coral reefs. And that's how bad the system is right now, especially with climate change and everything. So the device that I built is used to study that change. So yeah, so I spent the next 1 year in the first 1 year in army, spending like Saturdays and Sundays building this project. And I needed help at one point to do some 3D printing. And I searched someone like in Carousel to help me with 3D printing. And we worked on the project. At the end of the project, I felt like he was a really nice guy to work with, you know. So he was like, you know, we should work on something bigger together. And that's how Flint came into be. So that's how Flint was born. And maybe I can share with you more about Flint. So um, Flint is, when we started off Flint, we just wanted to make a consumer product that people like you and me can use. Because for the past projects that I've been working on, it's mostly focused on research stuff. So I just make one product and it goes there and does its job. That's it. I don't see it in everyday life. So me and my co-founder wanted to build something that I can, like, when I'm in the MRT, I can see someone use it, something like that. You know, it's like the tiny jumps in your heart when you see someone use your product. So that's the main uh drive we had when we built Flint. And ever since that, we started off with a very weird idea. We wanted to like build a modern pager for the 2022, you know. We wanted to build a modern pager. It is a very weird idea. I can say it now, but back then I was like, damn, that's so cool. But we iterated a lot for like the next 1 year, and then we came up with a modular power bank design. So maybe that I can share later in the slides as well. So um yeah, along the way, as we went through manufacturing and production, I just like realized that we need a bigger vision in a company. Like there's no purpose in what we do when we were just building power banks. So it's like when you wake up in the morning, you're just like, oh, I'm a power bank company owner. There's no thrill to life, you know. I want to like do something that gets me out of the bed. So that's when I brought in the aspect of sustainability and climate change, which I was passionate about before army, and tried to bring it into Flint. And that's how the development of paper batteries came into place. So that's the overall idea of what Flint is for you guys. And maybe I can get in more detail right now. So recently we got a government grant around $100,000 from Singapore government. And we were supposed to do it in a 5 or 6 minutes pitch. And I kind of edited that slides for you guys. So maybe that's what I'll be showing to you. I'll be showing you the slides that helped us get $100,000 earlier this year. So let me get it for you. Okay, yeah, it's this. Okay, so let's go. So Flint is more of a youth-led startup. Something we're addressing a problem that is so big, but not many people out there are actually talking about it. And that problem is the problem of e-waste. And we know, like, if you look around where you are right now, even like there's a phone, there's laptops, there's tablets, watches, and everything. But if you were to ask me what's one thing that's common with all of these gadgets, I would say that they are not sustainable. And that's because every component in that gadgets that we see around us can be recycled. The metals can be recycled, the gold can be recycled, the PCB can be recycled, camera and everything. But there's one component that cannot be recycled, and that is batteries. Now, we know batteries are key for a sustainable future. Like the world is moving towards a more renewable and greener future. But I have a question for everyone. Do you think batteries are renewable themselves? And why is nobody talking about this even, right? So that's when we found out batteries are toxic to the environment way more than what we think. If you want to imagine the scale of that, That's around 3 billion batteries thrown out every year. And that's only for 300 million people. Imagine the scale for the entire 7 billion. I think right now we're 8 billion, if I'm not wrong. So imagine the scale, you know? And if you want to imagine that for the Singapore context, that's 10,000 tons of battery every year. So that's a big amount of waste that nobody's talking about and nobody's fixing right now. So other than that, the batteries we are working or using right now are built with scarce and limited resources, which means these batteries, the materials that are used to build them, will one day not exist. So how exactly are we building the future of green energy, the future of this world, depending on materials that will not exist one day? That's a very ironic question that we try to like fix as well. And the last one is the safety hazards. So I'm pretty sure you guys know like the concerns of batteries wherever they go. I think 2 months ago there was like a incident where a power bank got on fire before the flight took off. So that is a perfect example to show you the concerns of batteries wherever they go. So the problem is we don't have a better solution out there to fix this. We are kind of forced to work with lithium-ion technology. But what if I told you we had one? And that technology is the Flint paper battery. And it's a simple composition using cellulose paper, zinc, and manganese. Don't mind the MG. That's actually, I forgot to edit it, but it's I can explain the science behind it if anyone is interested after this call, but I'll just move on forward. And using these materials opens 5 new doors for us. The first is that it's fully compostable. The battery can compost in less than a month. So at the end of its life cycle, all you have to do is just take out the battery components and you can put it in the soil and it will compost. That's how safe it is. We're not asking people to do that, but that's how safe our battery is compared to the natural and toxic materials we're using. And the next thing is it has an adaptive design, which means the battery can be flexible. It can be made in any shape. And who knows, maybe even your folding smartphones in the future can have folding batteries as well. The next thing is that it's leak-proof and non-toxic, which means the battery is so safe to use that even you can even cut the battery while it's in operation and it will still continue working. It won't overheat, it won't explode like what we know batteries would do today. And the next thing is that I would consider this one of the best things actually. It is production friendly. So we use the exact same manufacturing process compared to lithium-ion batteries. So that means we don't have to reinvent the wheel on manufacturing anymore. We can just use existing technologies out there and just put in our recipe, and you can easily have a production line of paper batteries. That's how simple it is. And due to that, we can bring down the cost of making our batteries by almost 10 times. I said half there because this is a pitch, but I can share with you guys the true numbers. It's our batteries are 10 times cheaper than lithium-ion batteries. So that these 5 are the biggest key features of our technology. So moving forward, what slide is this? Okay, we are working on a strategic partnership between NTU and Flint. So this slide is very old. We have added new names to this already. So there's SMU with us, there's SUTD, and there's MIT as well. So we've been all like working on this together using the brain power of all these scientists helping us bring it to the world. And what Flint is doing is commercializing it, because maybe we can explore this deeper into the Q&A also, but making something in the lab is the easiest part of any innovation, in my opinion. Commercializing it is the hardest thing ever, because like you have to do a million steps after the lab. You can make a prototype for once, that's great. But if you have to make that prototype a million times with the same quality, that's a different story. So that's what we're working on right now, and the business development and seeing the best go-to-market strategy. Okay, so right now wait, sorry. If you compare our battery with lithium-ion technology right now, we are actually comparable, even higher than lithium-ion in areal density. So area is like the side times side. We are 110 times better than lithium batteries. But what we are working on right now is the volumetric density. So this number was earlier in the year. It was 60% compared to lithium batteries. We are now even higher than this. And most of the funding that we have gotten, we are using it for R&D and marketing and operations. But This has changed now. We're now like really we're done with R&D right now. We are done with R&D POC, and we're now focusing on POV, proof of value. And we're instead of marketing, we're focusing on distribution now. And yeah, but okay, so that's the thing, right? Making just the technology is not enough nowadays, because you have to show the right applications to the world if you have a really new groundbreaking technology. So that's why we at Flint wanted to merge the two worlds together, the consumer world where we use products, and the research world where we make cutting edge technologies. So the entire idea of Flint is that, oh yeah, by the way, this is the power bank that we've been crowdfunded and manufactured. We want to like merge these two worlds together and bring pair batteries to our power banks, and we want to be the first product in the entire world to have a actually 100% sustainable product. And we just ended manufacturing for this 2 weeks ago, and the first 1,000 units are actually in production right now. We'll be shipping the first 1,000 pre-orders by next month. And yeah, I guess you guys will be seeing this name a lot in NTU, because we have a lot of plans for marketing as well. Okay, this is traction. So yeah, and we did crowdfunding for 1 month, and we got around like 600 plus pre-orders since then. This number is just from the crowdfunding. After the crowdfunding, it reached around 1,000. So this is from 16 countries, and it's just the idea stage. So you have to understand that when we launched Flint Charge, the power bank, we just put the idea out there. We just like tried to design it really nice and present it really nice. And people were willing to support us this much at just the idea stage, knowing that their money is at risk. And we thought that was a good validation. That's why we proceeded forward with manufacturing and all those stuff. And we're really excited to actually bring this product to the people in the next 1 month. So yeah, it's very exciting stage for us right now. So yeah, if you want to measure our success, maybe in the next 1 to 2 years, if you're gonna see our name a lot around Singapore or hopefully NTU, we want to lead Singapore's transition to sustainable technologies, and we plan to do that by increasing the efficiency of our paper battery to around 80% compared to lithium-ion batteries. So when that is done, we'll be licensing the technology to other people and also looking to manufacture and produce these batteries ourselves. We are looking into China, Vietnam, and India. And if you're actually curious why, you can raise that question up later. Next thing is we want to impact at least 1,000 youths across universities in Singapore. So we are a youth-led startup. So what better way to like return back to the community than our own people, right? So we thought we're really like we really take this as a very important value for us to return back to the community. And we don't call ourselves a technology company, and the people inside us as engineers. We see ourselves as a intersection between technology and liberal arts. So it's something like that, the concept. The next thing is we want to sell at least 1,000 units, which we've done already. And what's the next slide? So this is all done possible because of our partnerships with all the manufacturing stuff you've seen on the side, and also the things you've seen on the right side. The partnerships and the clubs and everything you've seen here is actually grew in double size. I didn't update this slide, but yeah, we would love to work with youth-led organizations to bring this forward and to teach more people about the harms of batteries and what a company named Flint is doing out there to solve that. And I think one of the most exciting stuff recently that happened to us is TechCrunch selected 20 startups from around the world to come and pitch on San Francisco during their pitch day. And we are one of those 20 startups out of the 5,000 startups that applied. And I would say this is a very, very, very big and good news for Flint, for NTU, and for Singapore. Because if you consider, I mean, it's a big news. Like we're the only Singaporean company, or we're the only Asian company that got selected. So that shows the value of the project that we're doing and the work that we're like focused on. And that's happening later next month. And we're designing an entire new pitch for that as well. So yeah, this is the conclusion side. Like you guys don't need to like really be amazed. But yeah, we really hope to be the company that intersects between technology and sustainability, and we hope to bring the the benefits of these things down to the consumers. Because if you want to talk about impact, I believe in collective action where if one person just changes, that's not enough. Everyone has to like come into play. And if you were gonna wait for governments or for huge corporations to take their time and change their policies and everything, that's gonna take forever. But we have to know the fact that consumers like you and me are the people who have the power in hand. Because if we choose the right products and the right people who drive sustainable technologies, that will automatically bring change. And that's where the real impact is. So that's what we want to do. We want to bring cutting edge technologies to consumer products so that people like you and I can change the world with whatever we are doing. So yeah, that is Flint. I think I can show you this slide again. So I would actually like this to be more of a two-way conversation. I planned the presentation to just be around like 10-15 minutes. I hope I was just around that time. I would love to answer some questions. I would love to hear from the audience. And this slide that I showed you here, these are just a few things that maybe I have some knowledge about. So if you guys would love to know more about my experience in any of these things, just let me know. Then I'll be answering the questions. All right.
Thanks, Carlo, for your presentation. I think Adam had a question in the chat, but I think it's more of what software you use to create the presentation.
Okay, I think that's a compliment. Okay, so I use Keynote. I've been using Keynote since a very, very long time, and okay, to be honest, using Keynote is also sometimes a problem because wherever I go to pitch, they always use a Windows laptop. So I always have to like argue with whoever's the organizer that they should allow me to use my laptop to present. So that's always a problem. I always end up going like 1 or 1.5 hours earlier than the pitch time just to like set up my laptop and argue with the people there just to do all these things. So yeah, I would say it's worth the animations and everything, but you guys can explore Keynote if you have the time soon. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Carlo, for the answer. I'm opening the floor to anyone in the audience who would like to ask questions. So do, ask them in the chat if you're too, shy to speak up, or if not, you can just unmute yourself and, just ask Carlo directly. I think we have another question from Dan Yen as well. He asked Carlo, how do you manage your business, CCA, and studies all at the same time?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question also. I many people ask me this question. I would say that okay, when I first came into uni first year, I felt very stupid because like 2 years of not studying and all of a sudden you're seeing all these smart people around you. So that's one of the reasons. But the other reason is that I didn't know what I wanted to do with my years in college. So, and then that's when a really good friend of mine told me a really good advice that changed the way I thought. So she told me like, um, I should try to think about what I want out of these 4 years and list it down and make that as my priority. So this way I know what's important to me and I know what's not. So when I did that, I noticed a pattern in life. When I was in school, I hated school. But when I left school and went to army, I missed school so much and I hated army. Then when I left army, I missed army so much. Then I started hating university. Then I was like, wait a minute, this is like a really weird pattern. And I was like, maybe I should try to enjoy university now. Like if this is the only 4 years of my life where I will be getting something where I can risk myself, I can put myself out there and try new things. If I don't, then the next years after these 4 years is going to be entirely different. And that's when I realized like, oh, there's more to life than just GPA and all those grades, that I was really focused on first sem. And that's when I started focusing more on on Flint and also like trying to put myself out there, meet more people, talk to random strangers, and just go for networking sessions and all those things. So if you were to ask me how I manage all these things, I it's not healthy, I would say, but I convince myself saying that there's 24 hours in a day. So planning is very important. Scheduling is my top priority, and I guess that's how I'm surviving so far. If anyone is curious about my grades, it's decent. It's not bad. It's not that good. So yeah.
Okay, thanks, Carlo, again for the answer. We have another one from Erica. She asked, how do you know that your product was possible and that it would be in demand? And the next question is, how do you source your supply chain?
Okay, that's a good question. Um, okay, I have to be honest. When I started Flint, I had no idea. I had no knowledge about startups or manufacturing or production. I just started with a blind vision, like no, not just blind drive. I just knew that I wanted to make something, and I just jumped straight into it. Sometimes it's not the best steps for someone to take, but I guess I survived. I would say that I'm lucky, and that's because of the people that have helped me so far. And along the way, the way I found out like how my product is possible and how there's actually traction is with crowdfunding. That's the first step I ever took. So I came up with an entire new product idea, tested it with my friends and family first, and asked them for opinions and everything. Then after that, I just tried to focus on how can I show it properly to the people out there over internet. So I built something that looked like an Apple website, like to show our product very fancy and put it out there in the crowdfunding page. And I was honest. I told people that this is just an idea. Like we don't even have a prototype yet. And I was confident that if people were gonna put in the money at that time for us, that means the product is really good. If people don't put the money in and don't if there isn't much traction, then that means I need to improve the product. So that was like the first starting step I took, because there didn't need much investment or like money to be capital, like to start off. It's just the idea. And I was lucky enough that people actually liked the idea and were able to crowdfund us. And due to that, we were kind of like we convinced ourselves that we are in the right direction. That's when we moved forward to production. So if you ask your next question about supply chain, is actually a very good question also. Not many people ask me about that. When I started off, I had plan A, plan B, and plan C. And if you were to ask me now, I'm in like plan XYZ, past that already. So there's been a lot of changes along the way, and supply chain is one of the biggest hurdles that I've gone through. Mm, if you talk about manufacturing, you need a lot of capital to invest in your first product, and that's because of all the manufacturing processes um, like molding or PCB design and all those things. So, for some reference, for the molding of our power bank that you saw over there, it cost us around $30,000 US dollars just to make the mold, the machine that will like punch the plastic injection. So every second you can get a new power bank, something like that. So that was a big investment we had to take. So we had to make sure we're working with the right people. And that was around the same time of COVID as well. If you talk about manufacturing, China is the best place to get started with manufacturing. And COVID, China, like the clashing, right? So that was a very tough stage for us. We were actually delayed by 6 months just because of that. And we were talking to a lot of people along the way. And I would say it's one of the toughest points of Flint and in the first year. And we were grateful enough to like meet up some manufacturers along the way, and we decided to work with them. And everything has been going so well so far. So I would say that the people I'm working with, the manufacturing teams and engineers, are really talented people. We diversified everything to not just one area, because it's easy for people to just copy your product and make it if it's in one area. So we diversified manufacturing. I would say like I'm just being frank and honest. My father is also an engineer. He's in the manufacturing field in Philippines. So he brings me to his manufacturing plant every like Saturday when I was a kid, like since 10 years old. So I have a like good background about understanding how everything works and how to talk to engineers. And I just go there just for fun every Saturday to talk with the people there and learn at least 1% every day, or 0.0001% every day. So yeah, regarding supply chain, what else can I share more with you? um everyone is moving out of China recently due to the political instability, but we're kind of like double-sided on that at Flint, because there's two ways we could be going forward. Number one is we can invest more in China because the potential is so high. Like, I don't know if anyone here has been to China, but I can tell you they're really, really good in technology development. And I don't see the other side is that it's very risky, because like, let's say something does happen, I hopefully not, knock wood, but if something does happen, it's going to be very hard for business to move forward with the manufacturing and everything if all our investments are there. So what we're doing now is diversifying everything again. So we're looking into places like Vietnam and India. I went to Vietnam earlier last month to see some contacts. And uh, actually, wait, maybe I can share how I met these people. I met these people through networking and through meeting other people as well. So I would say that talking to people wherever you go is very important. You need to know how to talk. You need to know what to talk. I had to learn all of these the hard way, and networking is the most important thing in a startup journey. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Carlo. We have more questions coming in. So the next is from Hubert. He asked you if there are any plans to increase the capacity of PowerSnap from 2,000 to maybe 3 or 4,000.
Oh, okay. That's a nice question. Um, one of the reasons we chose 2000 milliamperes because we wanted the power snap to be thin. I'm actually surprised you said power snap, so that I'm happy the name stuck with you. We wanted the product to be thin. To be honest, we launched this even before Apple launched MagSafe. So I wouldn't even be surprised if Apple copied the MagSafe concept from our crowdfunding page. So our focus at that time was building a thin battery that you can put in your pocket and just go out. Because I'm a person who hates carrying things wherever I go. I just like bring my phone, my wallet, that's it. I don't like bringing power banks or wires or anything. And whenever I go travel, it's a big problem, especially with the phones that drains in just half a day and everything. So what if there's something that I can just slip into my pocket? Like, let's say I'm going to a party or I'm going to see my friend somewhere out there. I just put this in my pocket and just head out. Once I need to charge, I just like snap it behind my phone. It will just stick magnetically and start charging. So that's the entire idea at first, to make a 2000 milliampere device. But then we actually do have plans to increase capacity to 3000, 3500 in the next 1 year with a new design as well. So yeah, look forward to that if you're actually keen. Yeah, we can go to the next question.
Okay, the next question is how do you go about for marketing strategy and customer acquisition for Flint? Because coming up with a product is one thing, but getting out there is the hard part.
Mm-hmm. So sorry, can you repeat the first part of the question?
Okay, the first part of the question is how did you go about for marketing strategy and customer acquisition for Flint?
Okay, regarding crowdfunding, our marketing strategy was nothing, it's zero. We everything was organic, and I think that's why I was pretty confident that this idea was actually good. And right now, after we ship the first 1,000 units of Flint Charge, we'll be like relaunching the sales. Oh yeah, I stopped sales after 1 month because I wanted to focus on manufacturing and all those things. So we'll be relaunching the sales after we ship the first 1,000 units next month. And when that happens, we'll be getting sales through our online website, which is still under development. And marketing is going to play a very, very big role. To be honest, I am doing what I think is right, which is focusing on social media marketing and ads. And I think there's a lot for me to learn in that space. So what I can share with you right now is I'm going to be investing a lot in Facebook and Instagram ads, and also going for offline marketing, such as like getting reviewers to do like to check out our project. No, not project, our power bank, and even like events in NTU. We're thinking of like some creative ways on how we can reach the students with our power bank. Other than that, marketing. If you go to YouTube, they're gonna say like email marketing is very big. In my personal opinion, I don't think so. Email marketing is, I would say, a scam. I don't know how many of you guys read your. Wait, sorry about that.
Your attention, please. We will be
Wait.
closing the library in half an hour's time. Please make sure that you take all your personal belongings with you when you leave. Your attention, please. We will be closing the library in half an hour's time. Please make sure that you take all your personal belongings with you when you leave. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. I'm actually in NUS right now, doing some work. But yeah, what was I saying? Email marketing is weird. I would suggest SMS marketing, or I also think that's weird, but that has a better opening rate than email marketing. Other than that, I really think social media ads are going to play a big role, and building a community is also a really big thing. So, uh, community building is like the hardest part of marketing, in my opinion. So we're trying to like put in a lot of effort into that. I'm working with a few people on it, and maybe if it works out, you guys will be seeing some initiatives in the next 6 months to 18 months in NTU. Yeah. Any next questions?
I think no further questions for now. Does anyone have any other questions? Okay, Erica just asked another one. The first question from her is, how do you go about getting user feedback for your product?
Okay, so when we were in the manufacturing stage, we had like a few samples. We start off with the alpha sample, then it's after is the beta. No, we start off with the beta sample, then the last one is the alpha sample. So when we get the first production samples, we try to like give it out to random people, not our friends and family, and we give it to them like we ask them to like use it for a couple days or 3 days, and we ask for their honest feedbacks. To when I wait, I frankly tell them and ask them for brutal, honest feedback. And I value feedback a lot because feedback is the only way you can improve. And I think this is something I learned in Apple as well. So when I worked at Apple, they value feedback a lot. They use the word feedback with intention. We even spent like a whole 2 days just learning about how to give proper feedback, how to receive feedback, and how to like even learn from your feedback. So um expecting honest opinions is really good. If someone is mean to you out there or judges you all the time, just tell them thank you. Because that's the only way you can improve, in my honest opinion. So yeah, that's how we move. We just like give it to the consumers because they're the ones who are using it at the end of the life and at the end of the product cycle, right? So we just got the comments and feedback straight from them. Any other questions?
Oh yes, the next question from Erica is, how many prototypes have you gone through?
Oh, prototypes. Okay, so I'm not like James Dyson. I didn't build like 8,000 prototypes or something. I didn't count, but I would say the number is around less than 30. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. We have a stream of questions coming in now. The next one is from Gerald. He asked, on Flint's funding, how are you acquiring funds beyond the crowdfunding sources you mentioned? And if you've been bootstrapping, how much personal funds have you put into the product?
Personal questions. Okay, I see what you're doing there. Okay. I don't think I can share the bootstrap numbers yet, but regarding funding, we are very careful in how we move forward because at this stage, if we were to actually go to VCs, they're just gonna like bite us like sharks. So we're not even thinking about VCs at this point. Right now, we're just trying to really like make use of all the opportunities that's in Singapore. Singapore is a really good space to grow startups, and I don't know if you guys know, but most of us take it for granted. So you should really appreciate whatever this government is doing. They're just like spoon feeding startups with opportunities, and you don't see that around the world. And so yeah, we avoid VCs. We're looking into grants and all those things. We're also a bit strategic regarding IP. So IP is going to be a big problem. IP means intellectual property, patent, basically the rights for the invention. We're also strategic about that because if someone does give us the money, that means sometimes the IP belongs to them. So we have to go through a lot of checks before working with someone. And recently I had a talk yesterday actually with a professor. He teaches at NUS, and SMU. So he came to me and he was like, Carlo, you are right now like based on what whatever we're doing right now. He told me like, Carlo, you are at the Series A stage, and you haven't even gone fundraising yet. So you haven't even done pre-seed, and your value is at Series A. So he was basically like roasting me yesterday, telling me like I should get into the funding area, and I don't know, maybe not soon, maybe within this year or earlier next year, you'll be seeing us like getting some funding rounds. So yeah. Any other next questions?
Yep. Okay, for the next question, Wang asks if it's possible to use Flint batteries for smartphones and electric vehicles in the future, and whether you plan to become a listed company.
Sorry, what's the last part?
Whether you plan to become a listed company.
Oh, okay. Okay, the great thing about our paper batteries is that it uses the exact same manufacturing process of lithium batteries. So that means we can literally go to any space where lithium batteries are right now. So, okay, I'm gonna be honest, we are not the only battery solution working on like cool technologies out there in the world. There are so many people working on cool stuff, like example, hydrogen-based batteries or sodium-based batteries. But the problem with these batteries is that if you want them to be in an actual product, you have to change the way the entire product works and stores these batteries. That's going to take another like 20 to 30 years and a lot of investments to change the way how they're manufactured. And that's the problem. We don't have time. Climate change is happening right now. We have to change the way batteries are working right now. So that's the thing where we come in hand, and where paper batteries are the only innovation right now where we can just use existing technologies, manufacturing plants, put in our recipe and get the battery. And due to that, all the manufacturers and suppliers have to do is just, maybe let's use iPhone as an example. They just need to take out their lithium batteries and put in our paper batteries. That's how simple we're making it for them. So if they still don't do that, then that I don't think there's a better excuse for them. Because we are a cheaper alternative than lithium batteries. We are sustainable and we're safer. So that's the three biggest key points for any product manufacturer producer out there regarding batteries, and we're solving that for them. Yeah, I think that's all. Any other next questions?
Yeah, the next question is a bit more personal. It's more, how do you assemble your team members?
Oh, okay. Wait, sorry, did I answer the full question? No, I forgot the listing, right? Okay, so regarding the listing part, I know some people have the tendency, like when they make a startup, they start with the idea of like, oh, I want to make something cool, then sell the company and go do something else. I didn't start with that intention. To be honest, I don't understand why people think that way at sometimes. If I see Flint as like my baby or something. So if I were to like start off building my startup with the intention that I'm gonna sell it one day, how am I like gonna be 100% involved in whatever I'm doing? So if you ask me about listing, yeah, I'm gonna stick with Flint until the end of it, and I don't think I'll be jumping into any other startups in the future. People have actually asked me to quit Flint and go into their companies and bring technology somewhere else, but no, I'm sticking here at Flint, and I have big plans, big visions for it, and I'm excited to bring all that soon. Yeah, sorry. Next question again.
Oh yeah, thanks for answering the second question from Erica just now. The next question is, how do you assemble your team members?
Oh, team. Yeah, I try to keep my team as small as possible, and that is with intention. Right now we're around like four. Okay, my team member is here. He's just like like flexing right now. Uh, we're around like 4 to 5 people at this point, and we're doing a lot of things, a lot of work behind everything so far. And the reason we're keeping it small is because at this stage we want to be working as close knit as possible, where we don't want to like diversify or shift our focus in many different things. We want to like keep it within these small group of people. And with that, I think the number one thing that is the best advantage is the focus we can have as a smaller team. Yeah. Any other?
Arjun asks, how do you go about finding people who are passionate to work on Flint?
That's actually one of the biggest problems most founders face. Finding passionate people is we recently had our first hire, research analyst, and when we were looking for a research analyst, my priority wasn't GPA or knowledge. I just needed like basic engineering knowledge. My first priority was the passion, towards like solving a huge problem out there that we are solving right now. And we went through like 200 different applicants, 5 rounds of interviews, and finalized with one candidate. I guess if you go to my LinkedIn, you can see her picture over there. I did a really nice short post about her. So why am I talking about this? I went off track. Wait, passion is the most important thing. So it's not easy to find that. That's why I talk to a lot of people and I try to like see if there's anyone that can fit my values and and see if they're interested in what we're doing. I think I can share with you a very interesting story. So earlier this year, CNA tried to do some documentary about me, and they came to like one of our classes in the CC6. I don't know who's taking it here, but they wanted to like shoot me in class. So they put me in a random class on a Monday morning. My class is usually on Wednesday. And then they told me like, this is your seat for today. This is where the best camera angles are. So you should sit here. So I was like, okay, sure. Then I just sat with a random group for one day. And then I met this one girl who seemed very, very like good about business development. And I just felt like there was something that she could bring to Flint. And after that day, I saw her like 2-3 times across NTU, and I was like, damn, this is a sign, I should like literally go and tell her about it. So I just went to her and I was like, hey, remember me? Then I started talking about Flint. And I asked her like, would you be like willing to join us and help us along the way? And she was actually quite interested and passionate about what we were doing. But the thing is, she was going through a lot of like other CCAs and projects. So it is understandable that people out there could be busy, and sometimes people can reject your invitation. And I guess that I just learned from things like these and try to improve, where I can try to be more persuasive next time if I see someone around that I want to bring into Flint. So yeah, so far it's been working really well. It just failed at one time with that one NTU student. So yeah, interesting story to share with you guys. Any other questions?
Yeah, we have a few more. This next question is actually from me. I was actually curious how you managed to onboard SMU, NTU SUTD, and all the other entities you partnered with, and if you have any plans for more partnerships.
Okay. Frankly speaking, we didn't approach them. They're the ones who approached us, and I think it's because of the work we're doing. I guess word of mouth. Yeah, that's how it is actually. So okay, it's all a game, Yeah, you have to be smart with these things. It's a brain game. So these universities partnering with us is not for our benefit, it's for their benefit. So we have to see like what is their intention. Like example, recently with SUTD, when they came in, they wanted to like, I mean, we are using some of their professors' knowledge and everything to improve our battery, but they wanted their student, so one of their student to like be the face of Flint in SUTD. So I was like, whoa, what's going on? Like this student didn't even like do much. Then what's happening? So we have to be careful with every partnership we are going through. So that's something I learned along the way. And I think an interesting story to share is that through word of mouth again, the ex-COO of DBS, the bank, heard about us. So she emailed me one day. She was like, Carlo, let's meet. Then I didn't even know how she got my email. So I was like, okay, sure, let's meet. Then I went to DBS. I went to her office. And she was like, I like what you're doing. I'm really like passionate about what you're trying to solve. So can I be your advisor? And I was like, whoa, okay, of course. Why would I say no to that? So right now she's one of our advisors. So along with her, we have the chief partnerships officer of Huawei, and also the CTO of Gojek. So these are big names in the tech field and also like the manufacturing stuff. So having them with us is just proving that we are in the right path forward, and they see the value in what we're doing. I hope I answered your question though. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Thanks for sharing your insight on that.
Yeah.
We have a few more questions. Melvin asks what you think of redwood materials.
Redwood, like what do you mean by redwood?
Melvin, if you're on, will you mind clarifying what redwood is?
Your attention, please. We will be closing the library in 15 minutes time. Please make sure that you take all your personal
Melvin, are you there?
when you leave. Your attention, please. We will be closing the library in 15 minutes.
Okay, I think Melvin may not be available as of now. Maybe we can go over to the next question. Whether Flint is recognized as a legally registered entity. And the next question is, have you engaged the services of legal professionals by any chance?
Yeah, we are registered. We are incorporated 3 years ago. We were forced to incorporate because if you want to crowdfund something, you have to be incorporated. The next question is about the legal stuff, right? Okay, I have a very interesting story to share. So when we tried to patent the Flint charge design and the structural components and everything inside, we inquired the cost of patenting to be around $20,000 US. So I was like, what the hell? I don't even have that much money at that point. So I decided to like do the patent myself. I applied it for myself. I just tried to like read some books off the NTU library and like use YouTube and Google to learn. And I did the patent for $250. So $250. So Sing dollars. So you saw how much I cut down the cost. I don't even know. That's like 20x or 30x. I brought the cost down. So if anyone is out there facing a problem, don't take it as a problem, take it as a challenge. Try to see if you can do it yourself. And I think that's the best way you can learn something and pass on to other people as well. So yeah, that's a very interesting story. Oops.
Okay, thanks for that question. Melvin just got back. He's saying that Redwood is a battery recycler started by Tesla's co-founder.
Sorry, it's a what?
Redwood is a battery recycler started by Tesla's co-founder.
Oh, okay. We're actually addressing this in the TechCrunch pitch, but battery recycling is really good, I would say. But when the number one is expensive infrastructure. Number two is we can only recycle around 15 to 20% of a battery. Where does the other 70 to 80% go? It's a good marketing term, like, oh, we're recycling our batteries. But if you think about the real numbers, that's where the real problems lie. Because okay, I don't want to like bitch about recycling right now, but the third thing is that recycling is just a short-term solution for a problem. We need a long-term solution. And to solve that, we need to change the way how batteries are made and what materials batteries are using right now. So we cannot stick with lithium, cobalt, because if you think about how centralized these minerals are, that's the reason why China and US are like global leaders in terms of technology, because that's where all the lithium deposits are. So what we are doing at Flint is making use of minerals and things like zinc and manganese, which can be manufactured anywhere across the world. It's very, very abundant. If you want the numbers, lithium, nickel, cobalt, they're around like 0.0002% of Earth's crust. The materials that we are using is 0.7% of the Earth's crust. No, 0.07% of the Earth's crust. So that's a big difference. And that also brings across the question of national security. This is a big picture topic. So some people in the VCs take this a very important topic. So if we depend on countries like China and US to move forward with technological developments, it's not great. So we have to diversify how batteries are being made, and we can do that with Flint paper batteries. So maybe it can be manufactured in Singapore, Vietnam, India, or wherever you can think of. Yeah. Next question.
I think that's all the questions we have for now. I'm thinking if nobody has any other questions, maybe our segment with Carlo has concluded.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone have any more questions? Going once, going twice. Okay.
Actually, maybe I can ask one last question. So I think maybe in this group, there may be someone who has an idea, but they haven't like really crowdfunded or anything like that. So maybe what is like one piece of advice you want to give them to continue on this journey?
One piece of advice. My advice would be just start. Don't think about what you will be doing three months down the road. Just start with whatever you can do right now and whatever is on your mind. Start with plan A, plan B, and everything else will come to you automatically. If anyone is actually interested, I'm not paid by NTU by INE to share this with you guys, but they have this thing called Nest program where you can go and pitch to them about your ideas. If they think it's decent and viable after like all the workshops, like to guide you about your idea, they will give you $10,000 to build on it. And if you don't want to proceed with your project afterwards, you can still keep that $10,000 with you. So that's one possible thing you can look at. And if you are actually growing with that $10,000, they'll give you another $20,000 to grow your idea even further. So yeah, maybe even after this call, if you actually do have an idea, just go and get started. Send that email, talk to the right person, and just do whatever it is. I'm pretty sure you will find a way. Yeah, that's how I started. That's why I'm here right now. Yeah. So yeah, I'm happy I could help.
Okay, thank you, Walter, for that question. I think our time is up for now. So thank you, Carlo, so much for sharing with us. Walter, would you like to take a picture with everyone?
Okay, I'm gonna
Sure.
get kicked out of the room in a few minutes. Okay.
Okay, sure. Let's take a picture now.
I'm gonna
All right. Everybody, can you turn your camera on just for like 5 seconds or something? And then I can take a quick picture. Yeah. Thank you. So maybe like just small a bit, yeah, like in. So, okay, just wait a couple more seconds for everybody to turn on their camera. All right, okay, in 3, 2, 1. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone, and thank you so much, Carlo, for coming, and doing the sharing with us. I think that all of our members have been able to benefit from this sharing session, as seen by the number of questions that everyone has been asking. Yeah, thank you so much for coming to our event as well. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for inviting. If anyone wants to talk to me, just reach out to me anytime. You can find me in the Outlook system. My name is Carlo Charles. So yeah, simple. Thanks, guys. Maybe I'll pass my LinkedIn to Rachel. She can share with you guys as well. So yeah, thanks, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. I think as of now, we can formally conclude our sharing, our welcome day. So for NTUES members, perhaps you could stay on for maybe like 1 or 2 minutes just to, have a short AGM. Okay, while everyone who are non-members are taking their leave, we'd just like to, formally welcome you to the club. Thank you so much for joining. And we look forward to, many more events and, workshops that we'll be holding throughout the academic year. So, once again, we would like to, introduce you to our members here. So the 5 of us will be the executive committee for this upcoming semester. So do feel free to reach out to us via the members chat, or if you have any questions that you may have throughout the semester, throughout the academic year itself. Yeah. So if you have any questions, do just reach out to us directly. Yeah. Okay, I think that is generally all. We will be closing the welcome day for now. You may take your leave. Thank you.